trade without borders, the new architecture of commerce. So Dubai has positioned itself as a gateway to connect Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Europe. So let me start with this question to you both. What does trade without borders mean to you both?
I think trade without borders is further than just looking at the trade by itself, is to ensure that there is a strong synergy between the public sector, represented by the government, and having the right business environment and the right trade rules and services that will enable the private sector to trade more cross-border. So this synergy is very essential to ensure the resilience and to ensure the adaptability of the changes that we are seeing now, especially the latest geopolitical shifts. The world will continue evolving, not only limited to the geopolitical shifts that we see, but due to the very important factors that are touching every part of the supply chain and trade. One key one is the AI. How would AI impact the future of trade? So trade digitization is growing very fast, double digit. The importance of the synergy between the private and public sector is very important. The best way to look at it is to ensure that the government discuss clearly with the private sector the challenges and opportunity before the border, at the border, and after the border. The moment we have this close synergy and collaboration, we will see numbers will continue growing. Last year, Dubai, especially the members of Dubai Chamber, we recorded the highest ever trade and exports of our members. And the reason goes back again to having excellent relationship with the government. If we look at just the number of recommendations that was shared from the members of Dubai Chamber with the government, the adoption rate of the policy recommendations that came from the chamber and adopted within less than 12 months from the government was exceeding 60%, which means that the government listens carefully and acts. So it's very important to convert these concerns and even unlock opportunities to call of action and to make the changes on the ground.
So communication is really important.
Of course, definitely.
What about you, Ms. Dai? What do you think?
Okay, for me, the trade without borders are firstly is the weakening of the physical boundaries. And the second is the connection of rules and the trust. As a representative of the chamber, and we often see the business right now is not only relying on the traditional shipping and also the air freight, because right now they're directly reach out the consumers throughout the digital platform, and also the overseas warehouses and the localized services, such as like a DP World and the GBali free zone in UAE. So at this time, but it also poses a new challenge for the policymakers, because they need to establish the mutual recognized standards to allow rules and also the no barriers to become the foundation of the trade, and also to ensure the data security and the industry security and the sustainability.
I know you guys have worked hand in hand. You guys met in Shenzhen. That's also south in China as well before. So kind of building that trust and localization is also very important. I know, Your Excellency, you kind of mentioned that this year we're seeing exports of Dubai Chamber's members reached a significant high growth. Let me tell you that number. Exports and re-exports actually reached 97 billion US dollars. That's the highest total in the Chamber's history. So, Your Excellency, I know you sort of talk about this, but what are some of the main driving force behind that growth?
In addition to what I mentioned earlier about the synergy between the public and private sector, the importance of building a relationship with fast-growing markets. We put a lot of emphasis on markets of high growth. We have a strategy in Dubai, an economic agenda called D33. The agenda clearly sets a specific KPI By the year 2033, the trade of Dubai should exceed 25 trillion dirhams. And we need to connect to 400 new cities and to concentrate on corridors of fast growth such as ASEAN market, Africa, and Latin America. And for us as a chamber, having more than 38 offices under our network, we work closely with China and with other important trading partners such as, the United States and India and the GCC bloc. But Africa is a significant market for us. We have 7 offices in the continent. Dubai always is considered one of the top 3 trading partners across most of the sub-Saharan African countries. And the reason for that is the effort that was done to build on the traditional relationship that was there, and then to have a win-win situation within the country, so the local communities and businesses will understand that this foreign investment that's moving into Africa is creating jobs, it's creating value. There's a lot of knowledge transfer that's happening on the ground. So I think these elements, by having a win-win situation or mentality from day one, working with partners, across the globe, our offices spread in all of the 5 continents, and really working on a tactical level on how can we have impact on the ground, how can we ensure we have our companies expanding into new markets, how can we make it very easy for companies either coming from Hong Kong, China, or coming from other parts of the world to use Dubai as a launch pad for their international growth, either into markets that we have great relationship to, such as Africa and the MENA region, or markets that they would like to tap into, and we can connect them through great logistics players, as Diana mentioned, DP World, Emirates Airline, who they can connect them to every part of the world.
Your Excellency, I have this question. So you said your office is really expanding to all continents across the world. Whenever you're setting foot in a new place, you go travel there yourself. How do you learn about the business environment there?
Well, we're blessed that we have more than 200 employees. Yes, it might be small compared to the number of output. To be honest, one of the main success secrets that I will share with the audience here is that we always recruit a national from the country that we're tapping into, but a national who have an international trade and investment mindset. So our offices in China are all managed by Chinese, and same thing applies in Africa, and same thing applies in other parts of the world. So, going global requires us to have a multinational mentality. To be able to do that, we really need to have a diverse workforce on the ground. And I don't travel all the time, so most of the offices opening are done by them, but I always force myself to go to the tough markets so we can ensure that we unlock the opportunity there.
All right. I guess that's why you guys worked hand in hand before. And we know that Hong Kong, also tries to expand its own market, especially for emerging markets. What are some of the unique advantages that Hong Kong really share when engaging with those emerging markets?
Okay. Currently, the trade landscape is reshaping, and emerging markets is not only the engine of the growth, but also is the key of the supply chain diversifications. So Hong Kong is pivot at this time is both proactive strategy, but also in an inevitable choice. There's 3 unique advantages of Hong Kong. The first is the dual role of institutions and networks, because Hong Kong serves as a bridge for international rules to come to China, and also for Chinese companies to go global. And in this situation, Hong Kong has its common law system and the free flow of capital, and the global network of professional services all over the world to make Hong Kong the most credible intermediary for engaging the emerging markets. So the second is the empowering the advantage of its Chinese hinterland. Cooperation between China and the emerging markets in areas like infrastructure, new energy, and the digital economies is deepening. And Hong Kong can provide one-stop support to those businesses combining Chinese solution and international financing and also the professional services. So the third is the organizational strength of Chamber of Commerce. In the UAE, our chambers is helping Hong Kong companies, Chinese companies, even international Hong Kong companies to leveraging the local partnership to quickly to adapt to the market rules and even the culture.
I think I mentioned that there are a lot of similarities between these two countries, and one thing is the two countries, of course, they put high emphasis on high tech, AI, artificial intelligence, and some other high technologies. So, given the rising of digitalization, how has this really evolved the global trade system? What do you think, Your Excellency?
I think looking at digitalization from an angle of increasing the productivity is the best way to understand it and understand its potential. I think it will definitely reshape the global trade. It will change the order of the impact that countries play globally. The playground will change. It will continue changing. We're blessed that UAE is considered one of the top major players in AI. To be able to do that, you really need to look at the positive sides of AI without neglecting the ethical part. That's why, it started from academia. United Arab Emirates was the first country to introduce and teach AI at the early stages of the curriculum. Students have the AI university and have a very open environment for talent with special visa schemes to attract talented people. Based on a study done by McKinsey, an independent study, it stated that Dubai is the third easiest city for ease of entry of tech talent. And we are one of the top 3 cities for engineers when it comes to the take-home income. Because yes, you might be paid a lot, but lots of it will go to tax. So having the right infrastructure for the tech talent and then, working together on how can we increase the productivity of the economy, this is what will reshape the global trade. It won't be limited only at the trade digitalization at the port services. It will be way further than that. We will see that more connectivity with both banking sectors and fintechs, and most of these solutions will be coming from companies, either startups or scale-ups, that will find solutions that will close the gap between what SMEs are requiring and between the potential that they can enable through digitalization.
Right, and it's not just large companies, right? Small and medium-sized companies, you do the same thing. What about you, Ms. Diane?
For the private sector, they are not only like merely the rule takers, but also can co-set the standards and also a provider of the compliance solutions. For example, in the digital economy, the cross-border data flows requires business and the governments to set the jointly design the practical solutions for those the secure facilities, and the role of chambers to consolidate the practical experience of businesses, translated it into the scalable standard proposals, and promote the alignment and the mutual recognitions of Chinese standards and also the international standards.
How do we align those standards?
First of all is we can really understand the markets of each other and to build a trust, because we cannot do the business without any trust. So and then we talk through about those alignments, the requirements, and the locally sometimes is the really local standards, because different countries have different situations. It's oftenly we met throughout the businesses. So mutually trust is still the base, that I think.
We only have 15 minutes. I know people love you guys talking, but we talk a lot about digitalization, high tech, but just in one sentence, how do we build trust more on business, Your Excellency?
I think trust is being closer to reality and to ensure that we have a very close and open dialogue with the private sector. At the end of the day, here we're discussing how can we grow trade, how can we look at the benefits that are creating economic impact, and the best way to do it is to be closer to the private sector, to use the private sector as an enabler, as a creator, innovator, rather than just a minor partner that you might consult whenever you would like to consult. And I think it's very important to be closer to the ground, and the best partner to give you instant pulse on what's happening and how to change and shift some of the rules of trade is the private sector. Right? So this is a general call for all of the regulators is take advantage of the openness of the private sector and the entrepreneurial spirit of the SMEs in terms of growth, and then I'm sure that this will reflect very well in the global trade.
So talk to you and like share your concerns, share what you want. What about you, Ms. Dai, in one sentence? How do you build that trust for Chinese companies hoping to enter the UAE market?
First of all, we need to fully understand this local markets. That's the first thing for companies to investigate and to know more about this. And the secondly is to understand the culture and also the local people, how they wanted to build their businesses. And the third is the mutual benefits. It's also we can find not only what we wanted to give, but also what they wanted to have, they wanted to receive.
So win-win cooperation, that's the ultimate goal. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me in warmly thanks His Excellency Mohammad Lootah and also Ms. Diana Dai for this discussion. Thank you.